ESPN Bet had him at 60-1 odds to win MVP. Now he sits fourth at 6-1, trailing only Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Jared Goff. And we know how tough that is for a non-quarterback. Stephen A., I'll start with you here. Do you feel like Saquon should be the MVP frontrunner?
Right now, I think he should be right there atop with Josh Allen. It's a pick'em race as far as I'm concerned. I've got Lamar Jackson lower than them. Right now, you've got 4 losses and 2-2, the 2 last place teams in the National Football League. You're not even in first place in your own division, so I'm not going to give that to you, whereas we can't say the same thing about Josh Allen. But when you look at what the Philadelphia Eagles have been doing, when you look at the kind of impact that Saquon Barkley has had, there's no denying that he should be right there with Josh Allen, leading the way for league MVP honors. I mean, he's the leading rusher and one of the leading rushers in the NFL, certainly leading in yards per carry, the touchdowns, the yards from scrimmage, every single category that you can pick for a running back. He's at or right there behind the top spot. He's been absolutely sensational, and he's made things a lot easier for Jalen Hurts. They won last night without Devontae Smith. We just have to make sure that we spend time giving credit to the Eagles' defense, who've held 7 consecutive opponents in this winning streak that they've been on to under 300 total yards. So I got to give credit where credit is due to the defense as well. But Saquon Barkley has been absolutely, positively nothing short of sensational. And him and Josh Allen, as far as I'm concerned right now, it's a pick'em. It's a nip and tuck.
Shay?
Stephen A., I can't say that I disagree with you. He definitely ran himself smack dab into the MVP conversation. Now he's on pace to rush for 2,151 yards. If he runs for over 2,100 yards and break Eric Dickerson's long-standing record, he absolutely deserves the MVP. And no player has had a bigger impact on his team than what Saquon Barkley has had on the Philadelphia Eagles. And we know just 2 years ago, Tedy and Stephen A., they went to the Super Bowl. This team is a better team. They're better equipped because of Saquon, because they have a running back that can hit his head on the goalpost from anywhere on the football field. He can catch it. He can run it. He's always that threat. And Stephen A., you're absolutely right. Vic Fangio has this defense playing outstanding. Their front four, now they did take a blow last night with Brandon Graham being out, but they can get after you, and they get that offense right back on the field, and they put 37 on the board without Devontae Smith. But when you look at Saquon and you look at what he's meant to this offense, it's game in and it's game out. His imprint has been on every single game. He ran himself right back to the top of the leaderboard in the MVP discussion. And if you go back and look at it, it's showing you just how valuable the running back position is. You look at Derrick Henry, you look at a Joe Mixon, you look at a Aaron Jones, you look at Chuba Hubbard. The running back has had a resurgence because teams are giving them opportunities to put their thumbprint on the game. But Saquon Barkley has been the biggest difference in the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, they're playing better defensively, absolutely. But when you look at this offense and they can score from anywhere on the field, the thing is, can they stay healthy? We see A.J. Brown has been nicked. We see Devontae's been nicked, and they've been in and out of the lineup with that offensive line. But if Saquon and Hurts stay healthy and they can keep this team healthy, that'll be, I want to see that matchup, them and the Lions. They are for real. The Eagles are legit.
Yeah, I agree with both of you. This is a great team. Saquon, in terms of MVP voting, would be at number 1 for me, followed by Josh Allen. You know, you got Goff and Lamar, 3rd or 4th right there. But this is the running back position. And what you're talking about, Shannon, is that's a heck of a milestone when you are, breaking Eric Dickerson's all-time record. That's what Saquon has to do, because you're battling 3 quarterbacks that'll probably have more moments down the stretch in terms of, I'm talking about voters and what they see. So right now, though, the impact for Saquon is above anyone else in the league. That's why I'd have him at the top. It's not just his performance, but the way he's affected that team. Sirianni has needed Saquon. In my opinion, Saquon has taken over that team in terms of leadership also. There's been the core 4 that they always refer to in terms of leadership in the past for the Philadelphia Eagles, in Kelsey, in Johnson, in Cox, in Graham. Well, you start to eliminate those names from the equation. They start to get hurt or they get old. Somebody had to be the leader. I don't think it's really in Jalen to be that type of guy. I think you saw so much joy from Jalen last night because of what Saquon was doing and just how Saquon's basically taken over. All right, when Gainwell had that touchdown, he was the first one to run down there and congratulate him after he scored that touchdown. He's quoting Nick Sirianni after the game. The quote directly is, "I can't be great without the greatness of others." Coach Sirianni said that. You have got players on the team early on in the season talking about Sirianni and his blow up with the fans and all of these questionable decisions, but he's got Saquon in his corner. And what that means in a locker room, you can't measure that because his message is trickling down to everyone else through Saquon. He's taken over this team leadership-wise. That's what they needed. The biggest impact in the NFL right now for one player is Saquon Barkley and the Philadelphia Eagles.
It's clear because of the arrival of Saquon Barkley and his game-breaking ability that it's changed the Philadelphia Eagles, and now it's about the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles. Just from a statistical perspective, Shannon and Tedy, 126.5 rush yards per game leads the National Football League, 6.2 yards per carry leads all running backs, 12 total touchdowns, second behind Derrick Henry, 1,649 yards from scrimmage, leads the NFL as well. And then when you look at what he produces in the second half, he's only had 9 more carries in the second half than he has in the first half of this season. Yet and still, he's gone from 472 rushing yards in the first half to 920 yards in the second half. So bottom line is, not only is he a game breaker in terms of his playmaking ability, but he saves it for crucial, pivotal moments in the second half of National Football League games, which is something that we need to pay attention to as well, while averaging about 7.9 yards per carry. This is what Saquon Barkley is bringing to the table for the Philadelphia Eagles. I know we've seen what we've seen from Josh. You talk about Jared Goff, you talk about Lamar Jackson. We've done that already, but especially after last night, especially when you consider the fact that they both ascended to a top of the NFC, meaning Detroit and Philadelphia. You look at Saquon and you have to look at him totally differently. You really, really do.
Yeah, the finish, though, Saquon has to have. The finish he has to have, fellas.
Go ahead, Tedy. Go ahead, Tedy.
He has got to explode to finish if we're talking about the award. I mean, it's got to be at least 2,000. I mean, that type of explosion, it's not needed from quarterbacks. It's the running back position for MVP is seen differently, Shannon.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But last night really helped because it was a national televised game and everybody got to see him rush for the 9th most rushing yards in NFL history, an Eagles franchise record. And, you know, in baseball, they talk about this thing called WAR, wins above replacement. Tell me who's had more replacement, who's been more valuable to their team. Stephen A., I'm not willing to dismiss Green Bay nor Minnesota. I'm just saying that. I'm not saying they're going to win. But you know who the happiest person was last night? Bruschi. I believe Derrick Henry went down there and knocked on Todd Monken's door, knocked on John Harbaugh. Y'all see? Y'all see how they give him the ball? Now, y'all been dilly-dallying around with me. They had 43 carries last night. Jalen Hurts threw the ball 21 times. Now, y'all be dilly-dallying. Y'all give me 13 carries. Y'all give me 16 carries, and we're losing ball games. They're winning because they're handing him the ball. Derrick Henry said, Todd Monken, John Harbaugh, stop playing. Stop playing, give me the football, and let me show you what I can do. But you're absolutely right. He ran himself to the top of the NBA. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but if he breaks ED 40-year-old record, in 1984, ED ran for 2105. Chris Johnson has over 2,500 total yards. If he breaks both of those records and they continue on this pace, he absolutely is winning the MVP.
Hey, fellas, 9 of 11 games for Saquon Barkley, a minimum of 110 yards from scrimmage. 9 of the Eagles' 11 games.
Yeah, Tedy, I want to come to you on this. The last time we've seen a running back win was Adrian Peterson all the way back in 2012. We know how difficult it is for a non-quarterback. Do you think he could actually win the award?
Now Peterson, I believe, went over 2,000. Okay, it's got to be a mark.
2,097.
Yeah, 2,000. Yeah, thanks, Shay.
A milestone like that.
It's got to be a milestone for a running back. It doesn't have to be that for quarterbacks, and I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair. If you look at the whole value of Saquon, I mean, in terms of everything he's done on the field, I mean, it's basically on the field.
But Tedy,
it has to be so impactful. Yeah. Like you've got to, the voters have to say 2,000. Boom.
It can't go to decision, essentially.
But you can't.
It's got to be a knockout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tedy, here's the question: do you think he's going to do it? Meaning over 2,000 yards.
Yes.
I do.
I think so.
I think I do.
That's where I'm at.
And it's about, you're talking Mailata, you're talking about Johnson, I mean, Mekhi Becton, that type of offensive line in front of him. Yeah. Saquon says it himself, man. It's not just me. All those guys up front, he gives them credit. But, yes, I think it's definitely something he can do.
Last night, when A.J. Brown was being interviewed by the media, he said, we got this brother here at the running back position that has taken opportunities away from us, and we're happy about it. When do you hear a wide receiver say that?
That says everything.
It says everything.
Listen, I would love to see it happen
They
for
realized
Saquon
he
just
could
in
run them
terms
to a
of
Super Bowl.
Yeah, but in terms
right.
of like the whole Cinderella story, because he wanted to stay in New York, and I hated the way they treated him on the way out. And just seeing the grass being greener on the other side and it working out, he's such a good guy. And I can say that as a Giants fan, so it's very big.
Yeah, and what happens is the team knows what's attainable.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, coach, let's get this for him.
Exactly.
Let's do it. We all want to get it for him. So let's give him at least 25. Let's give him 30. They rally around that.
They have his back. All right.